Hi all, this is Tarun. Today we're going to be talking about buzz rolls, and this is going to be sort of an introductory video to buzz rolls. Now, what is a buzz roll? A buzz roll is essentially a sustain on the snare drum, and the key word here is sustain, and what that implies is that a buzz roll serves a function of the smooth, continuous, consistent, even sound on this instrument, which can often be very articulate and percussive sounding for obvious reasons. So I know that one thing that comes very naturally to us as percussionists is to use a lot of arm, especially on our doubles. Now for buzz rolls and even for doubles, but for buzz rolls, I want you to think about trying to use your wrist a little bit. Don't let it lock up, okay? So one thing we're going to start with is an exercise from section 2 of The Roll by Emil Scholl. And he gives us this very simple rhythm. 1 and 3, 4. 1 and 3, 4. And what I want you to do is put a buzz on the end of 1 and on beats 3 and 4. And so I want you to focus on a couple things here when you're doing this. Make sure that you can hear the difference between this sound versus, I'll play that again. So this is A versus, do you hear how the second one is slow to fast? It starts da 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 and then it gets faster. You don't want that because that's what makes your buzz roll sound very choppy, and you'll hear your hands when you're playing your buzz roll. So what I want you to focus on is getting that buzz from the get-go. And in the practice room, one thing that you need to pay very careful attention to is how much pressure you want in your fulcrum. So when you're holding the snare drum stick, you have the fulcrum here in between your thumb and the first joint of your index finger. That's this joint. Okay? That's where your fulcrum is. And all your other fingers are supporting the stick. They're not already off the stick. So when you're doing that, I feel that pressure in the fulcrum and almost also in my middle finger, in the first joint of my middle finger too. You'll notice that the pressure changes during the buzz roll. It doesn't stay in one place. It almost starts in the front and travels towards the back fingers. You notice that when I play, my back two fingers, the ring and the pinky finger, actually drop off the stick just slightly. Notice I'm not doing this, because that's a source of tension. And that's another reason why I want you to use your wrist and not your arm, because that's a source of tension in your elbow, because you get stiff. So, second thing I want you to focus on is making sure that it's all coming from the wrist. You're going to use a little bit of arm for weight only, but you want the actual rotation to come from the wrist. So here's a sideways shot. So you notice that my forearm's not stationary the whole time, but it's not initiating every single stroke. So the exercise will sound like this, and I want you to start it with your weak hand at maybe a mezzo piano dynamic. I want you to repeat those 4 measures, maybe twice, maybe 4 times, however many times you need. You could even just do it with one hand. One other exercise that I like to do is to play triplets. Use that as a check pattern and then play buzzes. And what you're essentially doing is you're thinking about the buzz roll as a continuous, long sustain. You're not thinking about every single hand. Right? You're thinking in terms of... And it's okay if there's a little bit of nudge on those downbeats, but you notice that the second and third partial of those triplets begin to smooth out the more you think about a long, continuous feel. Of course, that's an exercise that you should do once you've gone through that first exercise and really familiarize yourself with how it feels in your hands, how it sounds, and how it looks. Thanks for watching. I hope this gave you a few things to think about in the practice room. Make sure you're thinking about using your wrist. Make sure you're thinking about the pressure in your fulcrum in order to initiate that buzz exactly how you want it from the very beginning and not from slow to fast. And make sure you're thinking about a long, continuous, sustained sound for now. Thanks for watching.